Welcome back. We're Hogs Radio. Every Tuesday night you can catch us. We appreciate you downloading the podcast or listening to us live. Either way, we appreciate the support. Gentlemen, Wizards talk. Over the last week, some action has taken place down in D.C. with Ernie Grunfeld. Gotcha, Kevin. Got to pronounce correct.
What, did you even see when you tweeted Grunfeld?
I did. Grunfeld. Anyways, so we trade the number 42nd pick. And Trevor 46, yeah, you're right. 32nd is one we still have. 46, and Rashard Lewis's expiring contract that was going to be $13 million of a buyout that we could have bought out.
I love when players just become contracts.
Yeah, like
it's not Rashard. We actually essentially traded Rashard Lewis.
We traded that contract.
But you really just traded like a piece of paper. Like
hands down. You traded bank, like you wired money.
Yep.
That's all you did.
Scoop, get that money out of here. So in return, we pick up Emeka Okafor, and we also pick up Trevor Ariza. So we haven't had a chance.
Pick in the draft, Emeka Okafor.
We haven't had rookie of the year.
I didn't know that.
Emeka Okafor was rookie of the year.
Emeka Okafor was rookie of the year, I believe.
He beat out Dwight.
Actually, don't quote me on that. You
might have been co-rookie.
You kind of quoted yourself when you said it, but I will.
Well, I thought I read that. I thought I read that he was rookie of the year.
I mean, Dwight was like a little stick.
So, all right, initial talk. We haven't had a chance to talk about it. All right, my initial thoughts are, it's kind of scary when you don't.
Yeah, rookie of the year.
Yeah, he was rookie of the year. Okay, so former rookie of the year in what year? 2005. Okay, so and then you got Trevor Ariza, NBA champion with the Lakers. Started on that team.
Good. He's a good.
I mean, he started on that team.
He's the kind of guy, if he's on your team, he's the kind of good role player that can help you win a championship.
So
he's like seventh. If he's your 7th or 8th guy.
Okay. Yeah, good.
Now
he's our starting small forward, by the way.
Yeah.
So I
don't think the Wizards are winning a championship this year either.
I'm on the side of liking it more than disliking it. Now I'm not on the side that I love it. Okay, I don't love it. I don't hate it, but I'm on the side. I'm on the more liking it side.
That's where I am.
Okay, just because I look at it as, first of all, the 42nd pick or 46th pick.
It's a waste.
Isn't making this roster because we have way too much talent. Or not talent, way too much depth. Okay, let's rephrase it.
We have way too many people.
Way too many people that the 46th guy probably won't make it on here.
No doubt.
And then Rashard Lewis, he might as well not be a player, like we just said. He's a piece of paper. He did nothing for us. So we're not losing any talent, and we gain two serviceable, veteran, good character, decent basketball players.
I guess my problem is everyone keeps saying, they got to make cap space.
Right.
Well, cap space only works if people want to come. If no one wants to come, you can have all the cap space in the world, though. I mean, you can't sign someone if they don't want to. And that's where they don't want to come.
I personally think that's where Ernie's mind was on this, because he said on the conference call that this was this was his free agency. That he didn't want to, rather than going into the uncertainty of who we could get, who we couldn't get, having to overpay for people, and kind of waiting it out. This was his last year's trade, and these two guys was his free agency. Because when you look at the free agency list, and I've looked at it over and over, remember who we went to as candidates? Chris Humphries. Remember we were talking Chris Humphries as a candidate?
I'll probably take Chris Humphries. Maybe
that guy in a second.
But what I'm saying is, you don't know if you can get him, one.
Yeah.
You got to try to outbid people, and since it's not strong, you're going to overpay for people.
This is essentially free agency.
This
was what we did.
That's exactly what he said.
I mean, sometimes this is how you got to get these guys.
But if you would have, if we signed them to the exact deals they have left in free agency, you would have hated it.
I agree, but you can't look at it in that exact light because of the fact that we gave up a contract. Okay, so we gave up $13 million.
Even if we just bought them out, yeah. If we just buy them out or whatever that was and then sign these two guys.
We would, yeah.
Bad news. Look, I understand, and the way that the NBA works is that you're going to, you're never going to accept a trade that totally limits your team and bankrupts your team. Look, I read that Real GM article that Ted asks me to read, okay? I read it, and I understand that there are still some possible good things that can come out of this trade. I do understand
like what?
The fact that now we didn't have any cap space anyway, or we didn't have any flexibility in 2012, but in 2014 now we might because we have two expiring contracts that we can move. So you're basically saying, okay, but so then here's where I'm a little bit weary, though I understand that there are two sides, is that this is still just okay, let's make a move and get a little bit better.
Right.
And still be maybe 8th, 9th, 10th in the East at best, and then wait again and do something maybe the following year. What it does, I think, by adding this is the only way I think you can get good in the NBA is go the Miami Heat route or go the Oklahoma City route.
Okay.
What I don't want to happen is Ariza and Okafor being pretty good basketball players, bringing us to the 8th seed. What does that get us, the 14th pick in the draft?
Okay, well, the next logical question is, what's the other option?
Buy out Rashard Lewis, start Jan Vesley and Chris Singleton, and have another terrible year and get another high draft pick.
Okay, now the reason that I oppose that,
guess what? I think we're essentially headed for another high draft pick anyway. So
I don't think
Ariza and Okafor are okay. I mean, I don't love them,
but
they're okay.
Okay.
Plus Nene, Wall. You guys got you have guys that can play now.
But playing devil's advocate with you here,
you have
mentioned in past shows and in past conversations about the Wizards that John Wall, to really start seeing what we have in John Wall, we need smarter basketball players. We need better, higher IQ guys who know how to play the game.
Little bit,
okay?
Absolutely.
We've said that.
I don't think Ariza or Okafor are those guys, though.
They hands down are an improvement. They're veterans. They know how to play the game. They may not be all-stars, but you can't say they don't know how to play the game.
I actually watched a lot of Hornets games because I had a few of them on my fantasy team. Ariza is like a shell of his former self, and Okafor is going to be a good defensive center.
But you saw what happened with the addition of just one smart veteran basketball player last year. Nene.
So the thing
you watched the entire team.
So the thing that you told us not to do, you're doing.
What?
You told us to wash away that last week, and you said, I hope that Wizards fans and Wizards brass don't say, oh, these last couple of weeks, this is our turnaround. Didn't you say that? And now you're saying, look what happened?
No.
Maybe it was Wilkes, but I thought it was you that said that.
No, I mean.
I probably said that too.
I'm saying we clamored all year that we need some smarter guys around. We can't have all these knuckleheads to really see what John Wall can do. We need we need decent, smart basketball players.
Yeah.
Okay. We saw what happened when you put one guy around a smart basketball player.
What happened?
Everybody played smarter. They played more team ball.
Okay.
They looked better.
Okay.
They looked more like a basketball team.
So what's ceiling then for this team?
That's the thing. There's no way right now that we could elevate our ceiling much higher than where we are because it goes to Wills.
So bottom out again.
No, because then you're continuing to stunt growth. You continue to stunt growth because you have John Wall who you're trying to develop. He's still in his third year and he's having to play alongside Chris Singleton and Vesley.
But aren't you in the danger of what we always talk about? And I know you've said this. If in basketball, if you're not going to be at the worst place you can be, is near the bottom and in the middle, and that's right where they're going to be.
But it gets to a point where, unless you are the Miami Heat, where you are going to go and get 3 max free agents to your team to turn it around, you're not going to go from 16 to 4. There has to be some growth. You have to learn how to play better basketball. You have to have guys with some leadership. You have to taste it. Okay, you have to get yourself up there. You have to develop. You can't have the laughing stock of the league, which we were, and expect to recruit anybody. We got to become we have to become a respectable program.
But I still think you build through the draft any way you can.
But we are.
And most of the successful how?
But we haven't given up anything draft-wise. That's what I'm saying. We haven't. We got
but
Beal
now,
coming in
but
or Barnes coming in.
We're always stuck, and we've been stuck in this 10 to 20 range for way too long. We need 4 or 5 top 5 picks.
And guess what? We just did it for the last 3 years. Wall, Vesley, and who we got now. So, I mean, we've done it for 3 years. That's exactly what the plan was, that for 3 years. Now, granted, we're behind because Vesley's behind. Okay,
who knows? I mean, I actually like Vesley. So
I know, but let's say Vesley was, someone like a Fareed, who's starting right now in the NBA and making a big impact.
But if Vesley does the Valanciunas route and plays overseas last year, we're still super excited about him coming over this year.
Sure. But that's what I'm saying. They haven't deviated from any plan. They've stuck with the draft. We have 9 players on rookie contracts, which is more than any team in the NBA. Okay? We have these. We have 3 veterans on the team. We only have 3 veterans on the team.
Well, then maybe I'll just go out, play and don't say it then. It doesn't feel right to me. It doesn't feel right to add 2 very large contracts and get rid of 1. when these guys are not going to help you win a championship by any means. They may even, in fact, just marginally help you get better.
Right.
You know, you talk about wanting to get so what's the main goal then over the next couple of years if we know we're not going to play for championship? Get the young guys better. You think of guys like Trevor Ariza and Okafor and will help.
Yes.
The Oklahoma City Thunder said, you know what? No, let's just surround them with even more young talent, draft better, and then really let these guys go. They didn't go make big trades for Trevor Ariza and Emeka Okafor. They signed a couple, sure. They made the Perkins trade. They signed Derek Fisher. Not the same contracts, I don't think, applied.
Now let me quote one of these NBA articles that I read in the last day or two. Can people stop quoting the Oklahoma City Thunder model? Okay, as the motto, and even I'm going to say that for the Wizards because
Bulls.
I'm telling you, tell me what model out there will grant you the second best player in the world, followed by a max contract point guard, followed by a potentially max contract shooting guard, followed by
if you don't,
defensive player, the defensive first team.
But if you don't, if you don't follow that plan, you'll never get there.
Exactly. The plan doesn't. Not exactly. The plan doesn't go.
So then, so what should we call it then? The plan?
Because here's the option.
The NBA plan?
You can hope for the Thunder plan, but the Thunder plan happens once every 15 years.
Wrong. The Spurs did it. Guess what? Now, guess who the GM of the Thunder is now? The assistant GM that was with the Spurs. I mean, these guys know what they're doing.
So two teams.
Okay, but you still.
I'm saying two teams in the last 20 years.
You still do what you can to follow that plan.
Didn't the Bulls essentially?
Rose, Deng, Noah.
Yeah.
Of course. That's what you do. That's how you get better.
Hell, if Rose didn't get hurt, we might even not even talk about the Heat.
LeBron's ringless still. But that is the plan.
But we're not.
The problem.
You're thinking we're giving up on our draft picks. We haven't given up anything.
The Wizards don't have an option but to go the Thunder
I think
route.
We are giving up on our draft picks if we get guys that bring us from the 3rd pick to the 12th pick. I think we're giving up on the draft if we're doing that. That's my point.
They don't have a choice. The Wizards don't have a choice because the DC, Washington Wizards aren't a big market for basketball. I think we get confused sometimes because the Redskins are. The Wizards are not.
So what do you mean? I'm not even talking about free agents.
But I'm saying is if you can't get big time free agents, because Bradley said there's 2 routes. There's the Heat route, or you said there's 2 routes. There's the Heat route or there's the Thunder route. Well, the Heat route, that's not an option.
No. That's not an option.
So you only have one route. You only have the draft route.
But what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have to have it isn't all the way to the point of the Thunder route. We're like,
well, no, that's extreme
because there you're literally putting you have to be so lucky. I mean, you practically have to be a lottery winner to be in that type of situation.
Which the Wizards were.
Okay, no, when I say lottery winner, I'm talking like a mega ball winner. Like the odds are against you, but that you're going to have 4 years in a row of stud draft picks.
You still play the lottery in case you win.
We haven't had any years in a row of stud draft picks.
You play the lottery in case you win.
That's what I'm saying. We haven't had any. You just don't. You get to a point where you also need to start having better players
you need to get lucky.
Like Mike Miller,
point.
Like Mike Miller, Randy Foye.
Not at all. No.
You need to get luck. There needs to be some luck involved.
But wasn't that the plan when we traded Ricky Rubio for Randy Foye and Mike Miller? Get good shooters, high basketball IQ, better veterans. Isn't that what the plan was?
We're talking 2 completely different teams.
Why?
Because that team had a 3 that the ownership thought was ready to win now, and that they just needed. They needed what the Heat just did right here when they added a Battier.
Bit.
That's hands down what it was.
Little bit.
They thought our 3 were going to could take us.
But in this situation, we drafted. We essentially signed 2 very large free agents to help our team get better. And for me, it's
help our team mature, help our team develop how to play NBA basketball, which we've said on many occasions that John Wall has been stunted his growth because he's had to play alongside guys
I won't go back on that.
Who
of course
don't
I agree
know
with
the game. And then, but the thing is, it's only 2 years, okay? And next year are expiring contracts, and expiring contracts in this league are like gold.
I have a question though.
What's the last big trade for an expiring contract?
I mean, I don't have every stat, but they're willing to take them.
But we just said. But what if you can't get anything for them? I mean, if our last big expiring contract got us,
you would have to trade
and Trevor Ariza. What's Trevor Ariza?
Expiring contracts are good for guys like Dwight Howard who will come to your city for 3 months and then not resign.
But I guess my question is, fellas, what are we Are we? What's the other option here?
Is it possible
with
we're
the
just
money?
effed?
No. With
What
the
about-
money? With the money? What are you saying? Because
What about trading? Give me
some
Rashard
options
Lewis,
before you say it's bad.
Rashard Lewis, the 46th pick and the 32nd pick for the 14th pick for somebody who's just trying to completely unload everything. Get another mid-round draft pick and keep us again. So then you work out books. I know I said that you can't have these middle-tier draft picks, but I'd rather a middle-tier draft pick with the potential to turn him into an Ibaka or something like that rather than a Trevor Ariza who you know what you're going to get. And yeah, it's good, but what's the ceiling? What does this move for me this move just doesn't get me excited. There's no hope. There's no future.
But I mean, I think
But
Grunfeld said it though. He said himself. He said this is our free agency, which is kind of showing. I mean, you get it. You agree with him in a sense, but at the same time, you're like, this is our. It's like, oh, this is our free agency, or is it? Wait, this is our free agency. Our cap of free agency is. But Emeka Okafor,
Both on terrible contracts.
and Trevor Ariza.
But
both on terrible contracts.
isn't there something to be said though that like we couldn't play in the game of free agency pretty much right now.
So then why
this
did the
year we couldn't
why
have
did
played.
the Hornets do it?
Well, the
Think
Hornets
about
are
that.
going back to square one.
How far are the Wizards from square one?
Because I'm telling you,
I'm just saying we
The Hornets are about to have.
we did
The
what the-
Hornets are about to have.
Listen, we did what
a
the Hornets did 3
top
years
10
ago.
player,
We did what the Hornets did
and
3
then,
years
and
ago.
the number one overall pick.
So we did exactly what the Hornets have done 3 years ago. We did it.
Okay.
We got rid of every bad contract.
Well, guess
we got
what?
rid of the big three.
might,
Let's do it again.
Are we gonna lose?
Yeah, and probably guess what? We're gonna have to do it again next year.
We only got 2 years of wall, and who knows?
I'm saying if we sit back, we don't do anything. We sit with all this money this year, all right, just sitting there when we could have added some decent ball players that know how to play the game, or we just sit on our money because nobody is coming to DC this year in free agency unless we are overpaying.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mention anything about free agency. I don't
I'm just
want
saying,
free agency.
so we sit back with all this money, or we could put a veteran guy who then
Why
next
don't-
year
can
that
we-
has a player
Who could
option.
we overpay? Let's overpay someone.
I'm saying,
Isn't it time? Let's overpay.
but what I'm saying is, and you're not strapped.
did it. It's
You're
worked
not
out.
strapped into a 3 or 4 year contract with these guys. These dudes are on expiring contracts next year. So this year it's going to help. Hopefully, our maturity is going to hopefully put a better product to the point where, like maybe like Indiana Pacers last year, when they took the Heat or they took the Bulls into that tough first round in the NBA playoffs, and they started showing something to make it where a guy like David West was willing to sign with them. Because if Indiana was still the laughingstock in the in the NBA, I doubt David West, with the offers out there, wants to go to a laughingstock. But instead, he sees, wow, these dudes are competing. They made it into the playoffs. This is an attractive piece. You put me on. Maybe we can make some moves.
Is it possible
I'm just saying, you got to start building that.
Is it possible
that attraction?
Is it possible the Wizards, I mean, just aren't ever going to be competitive? Is there a law? Is there a rule that says, we talk about it, that every team has to be competitive?
No way.
Is it possible they're just not? They're just, for whatever reason.
I mean,
they're
what
just
makes
not,
you think they won't be competitive this year?
I mean, do you want to? We want.
I mean, honest.
Can we replay the same conversation we had from last year?
I mean, you had this.
This conversation is gonna. You're gonna tell me they're gonna work really hard in the offseason. They're gonna get better. I'm gonna tell you what makes you think that.
I'm asking
We
you.
definitely had this
'Cause
conversation.
There's not a lot of talent on the team. I mean, okay, everyone could talk about how good Kevin Serafin played down the stretch against games that didn't matter. I don't think Kevin Serafin's an answer.
Sure.
Who knows what today? He's still an injury risk.
I mean, he'll miss more than half
Okafor's
the
an injury
games.
risk.
So he
Trevor
will too.
Ariza's an injury.
Trevor
any
Ariza's
of-
just not very good.
he's-
How many games has Okafor missed in the last 3 years?
I'll have to look.
No, I mean Okafor played okay, but they're also willing to get rid of a guy like Okafor because they have a guy named Gustavo Ayon. I mean, the moves.
No, because they have Anthony Davis coming in.
And they have Gustavo Ayon and so, the other big guy like Jason's.
And there's
Smith or something
a
like that.
contract there, so they're trying to get rid of the contract. I mean, that's not
What do you mean contract? So why are we taking it?
because we're in different situations. Like they literally are going back to like rock bottom.
The Hornets had a better record than us last year, didn't they?
I mean,
They did.
but they also need the money because they want to re-sign Eric Gordon.
Yeah, God, I wish we had a guy like Eric Gordon to resign.
guess what? We can't sign Eric Gordon because we're not in a position to have Eric Gordon. They get first dibs at him, owning
you're
the
right.
rights to
Look,
Eric Gordon.
Look,
So
I know there are both sides to the story. Your side is not wrong. I just
He played he missed 10 games in 2010, 2011, and he played in 27 games last year.
Last year he played in 27.
Out
Yeah.
of 60.
He was healthy.
Out of what? 66.
Oh,
He's been healthy his whole career for the most part.
He was actually, well, let's see, 04-05 he played in 73 games. 05-06 he played in 26 games.
Okay.
06-07 he played in 67. Then he had a good stretch for 3 years where he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean,
Then
people get hurt. That's not.
Okay, so
he's not an injury.
he's had a
concern
couple
or
injuries
bug or
over his
anything.
career.
I don't
but
even know what the injury was last year. That
It's his knee.
well, that's good.
It's his knee. So I mean,
if you
that is a little concerning.
At least
that he's not,
at least our other big guy doesn't have bet. Oh, nope, he does.
So I mean, I'm not saying it's perfect, but I don't fault them
Sorry, we
because
have Jordan Crawford.
I don't fault them because
Here's the deal.
We need
So-
to start putting a
so
better
here's
product
here's
on the
my deal.
court.
This is just my and look, as always, hope the Wizards prove me wrong. But if we didn't make this trade and did something else with Rashard Lewis, I honestly can sit here and think and assume that I'd be happier and more excited than what we did. Is it okay to just be that simple about it?
I mean, this
That
trade.
if we didn't make this trade,
Well,
I'd be more happy.
Bradley didn't really say he liked the trade. He just said he likes it more than he hates it.
I like
meaning-
it more than I hate
He
it.
might,
Meaning
it
the-
might
but-
be 51-49.
And it's not
Fair.
much more on the like.
So
but
it's-
I look at it like I was saying. I look at it just. Look, I think we needed to do something this year to put a better product on the court to surround
there's
people
something,
around
there's something
Wall
to say
and
that you,
Crawford.
There's something to say that you at least have to go out there and look like you're trying.
You at least need guys that know how to run an offensive play in the
Understandable.
NBA. If we want to,
You couldn't,
if we want
you
to
couldn't
develop
trot,
Wall.
You couldn't trot that team out again.
I mean,
next
think
year.
about this. Think about this for real.
So are we taking away minutes from Jan and from Booker and Seraphin now?
Listen, we're gonna get rid of one of those guys.
Well, Booker may not be
Okay,
here
we're gonna
next
get
year.
rid of a Booker, Seraphin, or
Everyone-
we're probably gonna get rid of a Booker.
Everyone I've talked to has literally talked about Booker in the past tense.
Booker and 30,
fine.
Booker and 32, hopefully to get up to 20. So that goes to your point where we still are doing something
Hope
to
so.
try to get back up. Because
Hope
that's
so.
my hope.
We'll see.
I'm just we have to have a better team around Wall. Like if Wall goes out there next year with Wall, Crawford, Singleton, Vesley, and Seraphin, or Nene or whatever.
We'll have Beal or Barnes there.
I'm just with
to
zero.
Bradley's point, we get Ariza and Okafor and that guy. So look, I get it, but I'm not.
We are a much better team than we were.
I don't think this
Well, that being
last
said,
week.
the bar
I don't think.
set insanely
Yeah, when you
low.
say much better team, that's
Are
where
you
we
talking,
may have our
Are you
disagreement.
talking playoff better?
That's where we may have our
I'm-
disagreement.
First off, you only need 35 wins to get in the 8th spot.
Well, that was with.
Yeah, are we? Are
Well, that
better
was
than
with
the
a
Knicks
66 game season, right?
with Carmelo and
Or was that an 82?
66.
No, I'm talking about an 82 game season.
You
though.
probably need.
I think the
low
year before.
40s.
I think the low. I think.
Yeah.
I forget how many wins.
Probably
in
need
last
Is there a
year.
chance
Probably
this
need
team
low
gets
40s.
40 wins next year?
I think this team,
Oh, yes.
just like the Redskins.
Yes.
Hey, remember what I said with the Redskins, Wilkes? What do I want? I want us to be in the NFL Fox.
You just want in the hunt.
I think we'll be in the hunt.
All right. Well, listen. When we come back, somebody who knows a lot more than us
We'll
about.
ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him.
Are we a playoff team?
Yeah. So with Anthony Davis, we already had a guest say that we would have been a playoff team. So interesting. When we come back, Seg2 Smith from NBA.com. We're the Ball Hogs.
I was the cops and your husband's in jail.